Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha with Ice Cream Fitness here. Once again, it is time for the Monday Q&A. I'm a little sore. I just got back from the gym and I missed a max deadlift today. So my spinal erectors are throbbing, so I'm going to have to try to get comfortable sitting down. I got 270 on my sumo pretty easy. It felt like maybe an 8.5 on the RPE scale, so I went for 280. I got it to just above the knee and I couldn't lock it. And my back is just killing me after that. But hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot. And let's get right to these questions. First question: can a female build muscle and burn fat while increasing strength levels on a cut? My girlfriend has been doing so on your 5x5 program. I just wondered if this can last for a whole year. Yeah, women are no different than men on this, and men can do the same. The only thing you need to remember is that the more advanced you become, the more difficult it becomes to gain muscle or strength when cutting, and the more difficult it becomes to lose fat while gaining muscle and strength. So the more advanced you become, the more difficult and less efficient it will become, and you will very quickly reach a threshold to where you will make more progress over the course of a year if you bulk and cut than if you try to do both at the same time. And what you're going to get as far as really getting the most out of it and seeing effective recompositioning while seeing big strides in performance, it's not going to last more than about 6 months. So she's probably not going to get a full year out of it, but about 6 months out of it on my program, and then she's going to start stalling. And she's either going to have to focus on making progress more or losing fat more at any given phase and period after about 6 months on there. All right, next question. I'm reworking my squat form after realizing it was pretty jacked up. Is your opinion to keep the weight light for a while or to jump right back into pushing heavy weight? As far as making major corrections in form on a big compound like squats and then progressing afterwards, it's going to depend on how advanced you are. For someone who's a fairly advanced lifter, they do a lot of different things. They can instantaneously start going up. For example, I just changed over to sumo deadlifting from normal deadlifting, which is almost a completely different lift, different muscles work. But because I do wide stance box squats, I'm able to go ahead and just progress immediately and start hitting 1-rep maxes and things on it, as a result of having all the support muscles and structure and neural efficiency in place. For a less advanced lifter who's had to relearn form from scratch on a lift, who doesn't have all the support structure in place, they might need to spend a month working the weight back up on the new form and just very carefully progressing and starting as light as 50 or 60% of their max for at least a week or two, and just spending a month ramping up to solid heavy work sets, because they might injure themselves due to not having all the support muscles and everything built up over time and from a long period of heavy lifting and doing a variety of compound movements. So to answer that, it's really going to depend on how advanced you are. And for example, if you're only able to squat 200 pounds for a couple of reps, yeah, you're down at that less advanced stage, and you're probably going to want to spend some time building it up, around a month or so, building the weight back up with a new technique. All right, next question. I know cardio has been proven to be detrimental to strength gains, but my sport, triathlon, requires a huge amount of cardio, and I want to find a balance between the two. Okay, this is something that gets really tricky when you're trying to balance maximum strength gains and performance or muscle gains with endurance and other things, and that's why certain sports that require you to have both do require really complex training protocols. Now, what I'm going to say for these, because obviously you're a triathlon athlete, so you don't necessarily need to develop the strength of a top-level powerlifter or the size of a competitive bodybuilder, you're going to be able to do just fine on a 3-day-a-week program, which I think you had mentioned. I deleted that part out because the questions get too long. But a 3-day-a-week full-body strength-based program will give you the maximum strength that you need, and that will allow you 4 other days to work with. And even if you want to take a day off every week, that's going to give you 3 other days to focus on all of your conditioning. And what you're going to find as far as your strength gains is that if you do a given amount of conditioning work per week, you will have less negative impact on your strength gains and the adaptation to your resistance training and your strength training if you do that same amount of total workload for the week on separate days from your resistance training. And if your conditioning workload is so high that you're required to do some of it on the same day, I would say make sure that you get a very large meal and at least a 30-minute to 1 hour nap between the weight training and doing the conditioning work. Otherwise, you are risking detraining the strength training and losing some of the gains that you actually made. So the best way to go about it is to split them up as far as possible and ideally on separate days. So a system like that could give you 3 days of heavy lifting and then 3 days of all your conditioning work. So you end up having a 6-day workload and then you have a day off to rest. Alright guys, that's the end of part 1. I'm going to do a few more questions in part 2, so I will talk to you next time.